In the theater of life, countless roles are played. Which one is truly yours? We construct personas, meticulously edited versions for the world's consumption and approval. Ultimately, the uncomfortable truth about authenticity is that it demands much from us: honesty, courage, vulnerability. But it also offers the greatest reward: a life lived not as a lie, however comfortable, but as a resonant truth, uniquely your own. Are you ready to embrace that truth and the freedom it brings? What happens when the persona eclipses the person? The mask becomes the face. The comfort of conformity offers safety, but at what hidden internal cost? Philosophers have wrestled with this tension: to be or to merely seem to be. Kierkegaard spoke of the leap away from illusion towards self-chosen truth. Sartre declared our essence is built through choices, not predefined or imposed. Bad faith, he called it, denying our freedom, blaming external circumstances always. The digital age magnifies this, curating perfect lives, often far from reality. Likes and shares become the currency of validation, a fragile sense of self. Yet the pull towards the genuine self remains, a deep, intrinsic human need. We wear masks crafted from expectations, woven with threads of approval and fear. What if the most radical act is simply to be who you truly are? The discomfort of authenticity often stems from its inherent vulnerability and exposure. To be authentic is to risk rejection, to stand apart from the crowd. But is the pain of inauthenticity, a silent erosion, ultimately greater? Consider the energy spent maintaining a facade, policing your every word and action. This constant performance can lead to exhaustion, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection. The true self, is it a fixed entity or an ever-evolving process of discovery? Perhaps authenticity isn't about finding a static core, but aligning with your current truth. It requires courage to introspect, to honestly assess your motives and desires. Many fear what they might find: imperfections, contradictions, unmet expectations of self. A reflection stares back, a familiar stranger in the looking glass of perception. But authenticity embraces the whole self, not just the polished, presentable parts. It means living in accordance with your values, even when it is difficult. The path to authenticity is not a destination, but a continuous, conscious practice. It involves self-awareness, understanding your thoughts, feelings, and behavioral patterns deeply, and self-acceptance, embracing your narrative, your strengths, and your vulnerabilities completely. It demands mindful choices, aligning actions with your inner compass, moment by moment. The rewards: a profound sense of inner peace, integrity, and genuine connection. When you live authentically, your external life begins to reflect your internal landscape. This alignment fosters resilience, allowing you to navigate challenges with greater clarity. So the uncomfortable question echoes: are you truly living your own life? Is this the authentic self, or merely an echo of desired images? Or are you performing a role in a play you did not write? The concept of authenticity, or being true to oneself, is a cornerstone of humanistic psychology and existential philosophy. It describes a state where one's actions and expressions are congruent with their inner feelings and beliefs. This isn't merely about being honest with others, but more profoundly, about being honest with oneself. A rigorous, ongoing process of self-discovery and self-acceptance that stands in stark contrast to a life lived through pretense or external validation. Consider the weight of a life lived inauthentically. It's a continuous performance, a careful curation of an image that may not reflect the inner reality. This disconnect, this chasm between the presented self and the experienced self, can be a source of profound psychological distress, manifesting as anxiety, depression, or a persistent, gnawing sense of emptiness and meaninglessness. The energy required to maintain this facade is immense, diverting resources from genuine growth and connection. Søren Kierkegaard, often regarded as the father of existentialism, explored authenticity through his stages of existence: the aesthetic, the ethical, and the religious. For Kierkegaard, true authenticity involved a passionate, subjective commitment, a leap of faith, into a self-chosen way of life, rather than passively drifting or adhering to societal norms. The aesthetic stage, in Kierkegaard's view, is characterized by a pursuit of pleasure and novelty, a life lived on the surface, avoiding deep commitment or responsibility. While potentially exciting, it ultimately leads to boredom and despair as the individual fails to develop a stable, authentic self. It's a life of immediacy, dictated by external stimuli and fleeting desires, lacking the grounding of self-chosen values and a deeper sense of purpose that fosters true fulfillment. Moving to the ethical stage involves recognizing universal moral duties and making commitments based on reason and societal principles. This brings a greater sense of stability and purpose than the aesthetic stage. However, Kierkegaard suggested that even this stage could lack full authenticity if it was merely about conforming to external rules without a deeply personal, passionate engagement with those principles. It risks becoming a rigid adherence rather than a lived, felt truth from within. The religious stage, for Kierkegaard, represented the highest form of authentic existence. This stage is not necessarily about adherence to organized religion, but rather a deeply personal, subjective relationship with the transcendent, often involving a teleological suspension of the ethical, where individual faith might lead one beyond conventional morality. Jean-Paul Sartre, another key existentialist thinker, famously stated, "Existence precedes essence." This means that humans are not born with a predetermined nature or purpose. We first exist, encounter ourselves, and surge up in the world and define ourselves afterwards. Authenticity, in Sartre's view, involves embracing this radical freedom and the responsibility that comes with it. We are what we choose to be through our actions and commitments in the world. Sartre's concept of bad faith, mauvaise foi, is central to understanding inauthenticity. Bad faith is a form of self-deception where individuals deny their freedom and responsibility, acting as if their choices are determined by external factors, their role in society, or their past. It's pretending to be an object rather than a free subject, for example, a waiter who is his role rather than freely choosing to act as a waiter. This provides a false comfort by evading the anxiety of freedom. To live authentically, according to Sartre, is to acknowledge and embrace this anguish of freedom. It means recognizing that we are condemned to be free. Every choice we make defines not only ourselves, but also our vision of humanity. There are no excuses, no predetermined scripts. The authentic individual takes full ownership of their life, creating their essence through deliberate, conscious actions, even when these actions are difficult or face societal disapproval. The world demands conformity, a comfortable costume hiding unique, vibrant truths. Societal pressures are perhaps the most pervasive barriers to authentic living. From a young age, we are conditioned by family, education, media, and culture to adopt certain beliefs, values, and behaviors. These expectations can become so internalized that we mistake them for our own genuine desires, leading to a life that feels subtly, or overtly, misaligned with who we truly are at our core. The desire for acceptance and belonging is powerful. The fear of judgment is a potent inhibitor of authenticity. We worry about what others will think if we express unconventional opinions, pursue unusual paths, or reveal our vulnerabilities. This fear can lead us to suppress our true selves, opting instead for a more palatable, socially acceptable persona. The anticipated criticism, ridicule, or rejection can feel too daunting, pushing us towards the perceived safety of conformity, even if it means sacrificing personal integrity. The comfort of conformity, while seemingly offering security, often comes at the price of self-alienation. Blending in, following the herd, and adhering to established norms can reduce immediate social friction. However, consistently prioritizing external validation over internal truth can lead to a life unlived, a potential unrealized. This subtle erosion of self can result in a quiet despair, a sense that something vital is missing, even amidst outward success. In our hyperconnected digital age, the pressure to present a curated, idealized version of oneself is immense. Social media platforms often become highlight reels, showcasing successes, perfect moments, and carefully constructed identities. This can create an environment where authenticity is discouraged in favor of performance, and the gap between the online persona and the offline reality widens, potentially exacerbating feelings of inadequacy and inauthenticity for many. The pursuit of authenticity is not a selfish endeavor. Rather, it is foundational to genuine human connection. When we are authentic, we allow others to see us as we truly are, fostering trust and intimacy. Superficial interactions based on pretense lack depth and true understanding. Authentic relationships, built on mutual vulnerability and acceptance, are far more resilient and fulfilling, creating spaces where individuals can thrive together. Embracing one's true identity, with all its complexities and imperfections, leads to profound psychological benefits. Self-acceptance reduces internal conflict and the anxiety associated with maintaining a false front. It fosters a sense of wholeness and integrity. This inner alignment translates into greater emotional resilience, allowing individuals to navigate life's inevitable challenges with more grace, confidence, and a stable sense of self-worth not dependent on external approval. Living authentically often involves a degree of courage, the courage to be imperfect, the courage to be vulnerable, and the courage to dissent when necessary. It means choosing the path that aligns with your values, even if it's less traveled or meets with resistance. This courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the willingness to act in spite of fear, driven by a commitment to one's own truth and integrity. The journey towards authenticity begins with self-reflection. This involves taking time to quiet the external noise and listen to your inner voice. Journaling, meditation, spending time in nature, or engaging in contemplative practices can help uncover your genuine feelings, desires, values, and beliefs, distinguishing them from an internalized script or societal expectations that may have been unconsciously adopted over many years of life. Identifying your core values is a crucial step. What principles are truly non-negotiable for you? What gives your life meaning and purpose? When your actions are aligned with these deeply held values, you experience a sense of congruence and integrity. When they are not, a sense of unease or internal conflict often arises. Living authentically means consciously choosing to live by these personal guiding principles. Practicing self-compassion is essential on this journey. Authenticity is not about achieving perfection. It's about being genuine, and that includes accepting your flaws and mistakes. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend. Acknowledge that it's okay to be a work in progress, and that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. This fosters resilience against the fear of judgment. Deep within, a whisper persists, a call to unmask, to be truly seen. Setting healthy boundaries is another practical aspect of living authentically. This means learning to say no to requests or expectations that compromise your values, deplete your energy, or pull you away from your true path. Boundaries protect your inner space and allow you to honor your needs and priorities. They are not acts of selfishness, but rather acts of self-respect critical for maintaining personal integrity and well-being. Embracing vulnerability is paradoxical. It feels like exposing weakness, yet it is the foundation of authentic strength and connection. When you allow yourself to be truly seen, imperfections and all, you create opportunities for genuine empathy and understanding from others. It takes courage to lower the armor, but the reward is deeper, more meaningful relationships and a more profound sense of self-acceptance, free from constant pretense. The process of aligning your external life with your internal truth may involve making difficult choices. This could mean changing careers, ending relationships that are no longer aligned, or moving away from social circles that demand conformity. These decisions can be challenging and even painful in the short term, but they are often necessary steps towards living a more fulfilling and authentic life, true to your evolving self. It's important to remember that authenticity is not a static state to be achieved once and for all. It's an ongoing process of discovery, growth, and realignment. As you evolve and gain new experiences, your understanding of yourself and your values may shift. Living authentically means staying attuned to these internal changes and having the courage to adjust your life accordingly, remaining true to your most current self. Authenticity is deeply connected to finding meaning and purpose in life. When your actions are driven by your genuine passions and values, work becomes more than just a job, and activities become more than just pastimes. They become expressions of who you are. This intrinsic motivation fosters a sense of fulfillment that external rewards alone cannot provide, leading to a richer, more satisfying human experience overall. The concept of the shadow self, as explored by Carl Jung, is also relevant to authenticity. This refers to the parts of ourselves that we repress or deny, often because they are socially unacceptable or conflict with our conscious self-image. Authenticity involves acknowledging and integrating these shadow aspects, rather than pretending they don't exist. This integration leads to a more complete and honest self-understanding, making us whole. Children often exhibit a natural authenticity, expressing their feelings and desires freely before societal conditioning takes full effect. Reconnecting with that childlike honesty and spontaneity, tempered with adult wisdom and responsibility, can be a part of the journey. It's about unlearning some of the inhibitions and self-censorship that have accumulated over time, allowing more of that innate genuineness to surface in daily life. One common misconception is that authenticity means being brutally honest or unfiltered at all times, regardless of the impact on others. However, true authenticity is coupled with empathy and wisdom. It involves expressing oneself genuinely but also skillfully, with consideration for context and the feelings of others. It's about finding a balance between being true to yourself and being a responsible, compassionate member of a community. The internal conflict that arises from inauthenticity can manifest physically. Chronic stress from maintaining a false self or suppressing emotions can contribute to various health problems. Conversely, living in alignment with one's true nature can reduce stress and promote overall well-being, not just psychologically, but also physically. This mind-body connection underscores the holistic importance of authentic living for a healthy life. Consider the legacy you wish to leave. Will it be one of conformity, of a life lived according to others' expectations? Or will it be a testament to a life lived with courage, integrity, and a commitment to your own unique truth? Authenticity is not just about personal fulfillment. It can also inspire those around you to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery and genuine expression, creating a ripple effect. This quiet yearning for authenticity, what if it's the truest compass we possess? The fear of being found out or exposed as a fraud is a common experience for those living inauthentically. This imposter syndrome can be incredibly draining, creating a constant low-level anxiety and preventing individuals from fully enjoying their successes or feeling secure in their relationships. Authenticity, by contrast, dissolves this fear, as there is no fundamental discrepancy between the inner self and the outer presentation. The pursuit of external validation, seeking approval, status, or admiration from others as a primary source of self-worth, is a significant driver of inauthentic behavior. Authenticity shifts the locus of control inward, cultivating an internal sense of validation based on living in accordance with one's own values and principles, regardless of external applause or criticism. This fosters a more stable and resilient self-esteem. Many philosophical and spiritual traditions, though diverse in their doctrines, converge on the importance of self-knowledge as a path to a meaningful life. Know thyself, the ancient Greek aphorism, remains a potent call to the introspective work required for authenticity. Without understanding our own motivations, fears, desires, and patterns, it is difficult to live a life that is truly our own, rather than one dictated by unconscious forces or external influences. Authenticity fosters creativity. When we are true to ourselves, we are more likely to tap into our unique perspectives, talents, and inspirations. Conformity, on the other hand, often stifles originality, encouraging adherence to established norms and formulas. By embracing our individuality, we unlock our creative potential, whether in the arts, sciences, entrepreneurship, or simply in the way we approach everyday life and solve its problems. Letting go of the need to control others' perceptions of you is a liberating step towards authenticity. You cannot ultimately manage what everyone thinks. Investing energy in trying to do so is futile and exhausting. Instead, focus on living in a way that feels right and true to you. Those who resonate with your genuine self will be drawn to you, and those relationships will be far more meaningful and sustainable. Our past experiences, especially challenging ones, can shape our beliefs about ourselves and the world, sometimes leading to inauthentic coping mechanisms. Authenticity involves re-examining these ingrained patterns and beliefs, understanding their origins, and consciously choosing whether they still serve us. This is not about erasing the past, but about ensuring it does not unconsciously dictate the present and future, freeing us to choose more consciously. The modern emphasis on personal branding can sometimes be at odds with true authenticity if it encourages the creation of a polished, marketable, but ultimately artificial persona. While self-presentation is a natural part of social interaction, authenticity requires that the presented self is rooted in and reflective of the genuine self, rather than being a strategic construction designed solely for external impact or gain. Moments of crisis or significant life transitions often serve as powerful catalysts for questioning authenticity. When familiar structures fall away, or when faced with profound loss or challenge, individuals may find themselves reevaluating their lives, priorities, and the degree to which they have been true to themselves. These pivotal moments can become turning points, leading to a more authentic way of being. Authenticity is not about being an island, isolated from others. In fact, genuine selfhood allows for deeper, more meaningful interdependence. When we are secure in our own identity and values, we can engage with others from a place of strength and openness, rather than neediness or defensiveness. This fosters healthier, more balanced relationships where both individuals can thrive authentically together. The digital world, while posing challenges, can also offer avenues for authentic expression and connection if used mindfully. Finding communities that align with genuine interests, sharing work or thoughts that truly matter, and engaging in respectful dialogue can all be part of an authentic life. The key is to use these tools consciously, as extensions of one's true self, rather than as platforms for constructing a false one. Society's script is well rehearsed, but does it allow for your unwritten lines? The discomfort that often accompanies the initial steps toward authenticity is a sign of growth. It means you are moving out of your comfort zone, shedding old patterns and daring to live more fully. Embracing this discomfort rather than retreating from it is part of the process. Over time, what once felt risky or awkward can become a new, more aligned, and ultimately more comfortable way of being in the world. Ultimately, living an authentic life is about integrity, a state of being whole and undivided. It's when your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are all in alignment with your deepest self. This coherence brings a profound sense of peace and rightness, a feeling of being truly at home in your own skin, navigating the world with clarity, purpose, and a quiet, unshakable strength. Consider how much energy is liberated when you no longer have to perform or pretend. This reclaimed energy can be channeled into creative pursuits, meaningful relationships, personal growth, and contributing to the world in ways that are uniquely yours. Authenticity is not just about feeling good. It's about freeing up your life force to engage more fully and joyfully with existence itself. For those who feel trapped in a web of expectations, the journey to authenticity might seem daunting. Start small. Identify one area of your life where you feel a disconnect. What is one small step you could take to bring more of your true self into that area? It could be as simple as expressing a genuine opinion or pursuing a neglected interest for just a few minutes each day. Authenticity doesn't mean you'll always be happy or that life will be free of challenges. However, it does mean you will face those challenges with a greater sense of inner resourcefulness and integrity. Knowing you are living true to yourself provides a deep well of strength that can help you navigate adversity without losing your way or compromising your core identity in fundamental ways. The concept of ikigai, a Japanese term often translated as a reason for being, touches upon authenticity. It's found at the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. While not solely about authenticity, living in alignment with your ikigai often involves a deep sense of being true to your unique combination of passions and skills. Pay attention to feelings of resentment, boredom, or chronic dissatisfaction. These can be signals from your inner self that something is out of alignment. Rather than suppressing these feelings, explore them with curiosity. What are they trying to tell you about your unmet needs, your unexpressed truths, or the ways in which you might be living inauthentically in certain areas of your life? Journaling can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and fostering authenticity. Writing freely, without self-censorship, allows unconscious thoughts and feelings to surface. You can explore your values, question your motives, and track your progress on your journey. It's a private space to be utterly honest with yourself, a practice that can illuminate the path towards a more genuine existence. Surround yourself with people who support your authentic self, those who appreciate you for who you are, not for who they want you to be. Genuine, supportive relationships create a safe space where you can practice being vulnerable and expressing your true thoughts and feelings without fear of undue judgment. These connections are vital for reinforcing your commitment to living authentically. Forgiveness, both of self and others, plays a role in authenticity. Holding on to past mistakes or resentments can keep you tethered to old narratives and prevent you from embracing your current, evolving self. Forgiveness allows you to release these burdens, freeing up energy to live more fully in the present and make choices that are aligned with who you are now and who you aspire to become. The fear of judgment, a powerful force shaping our public and private selves. Authenticity is not about being rigid or unchanging. A truly authentic person is open to growth, learning, and evolving. It involves the humility to admit when you're wrong, the flexibility to adapt to new insights, and the courage to let go of outdated aspects of your identity. It is a dynamic state of being true to an ever-unfolding self, not a fixed persona. The societal narrative often pushes for constant striving, achieving, and acquiring. Authenticity may sometimes call for stillness, for simply being rather than doing. It may involve prioritizing inner peace over external validation, or choosing simplicity over complexity. Resisting the relentless pressure to conform to a consumerist or hyperproductive ideal is a powerful act of authentic self-definition. Be wary of authenticity as a trend or a performance. True authenticity is an inside-out process, not an external label to be adopted or a new mask to wear. It's about genuine alignment, not about curating an image of being authentic for others. The moment it becomes a self-conscious performance for an audience, its essence is compromised and it risks becoming another form of pretense. The rewards of living authentically are not always immediate or obvious. It's a long game. It builds a foundation of self-respect, resilience, and inner peace that deepens over time. It leads to more meaningful relationships, work that aligns with your soul, and a life that, when you look back, feels like it was truly your own, lived with purpose and integrity. Ultimately, the call to authenticity is a call to courage. The courage to look within honestly, the courage to accept what you find there, the courage to express your true self, even when it's uncomfortable, and the courage to live a life that is uniquely, imperfectly, and beautifully yours, breaking free from the script that others may have written for you. So the question remains, a quiet echo in the chambers of your own mind. To what extent are your daily choices, your work, your relationships, your words, your silences, a true reflection of the person you are or the person you aspire to be? This is not a question to be answered once, but one to live with, explore, and revisit throughout your life's journey. In summary, authenticity is the courageous act of aligning your inner self with your outer life. It involves self-awareness, understanding your values and beliefs, self-acceptance, embracing your whole self, imperfections included, and self-expression, living in accordance with that truth. It is a journey away from pretense and societal pressure towards integrity and genuine selfhood. Key takeaways from our exploration include recognizing the profound psychological toll of inauthenticity, as highlighted by existential thinkers like Kierkegaard and Sartre. We've seen how societal expectations, fear of judgment, and the allure of conformity act as significant barriers. Yet, the benefits of authentic living, inner peace, genuine connection, resilience, and a deep sense of purpose are immense and transformative. The path to authenticity is a continuous practice, not a final destination. It requires ongoing introspection, courage to make difficult choices, compassion for oneself, and a willingness to evolve. It is about consciously choosing, moment by moment, to live a life that is true, even when it is uncomfortable, trusting that this path leads to a more meaningful and fulfilling existence. Reflect on your own life. Are there areas where you feel a disconnect between who you are and how you live? What masks do you wear and why? What would it take? What small step could you make to live with a little more alignment, a little more truth, a little more of your unique, genuine self today? The exploration is yours to continue.